Hey guys, tonight we are sinking into a ridiculously soft pile of ancient Roman pillows. Not metaphorically. You're actually there barefoot on cool marble, wrapped in a slightly too heavy wool toga that smells faintly of lavender and regret, reclining beside a fountain that burbles like a sleepy cat. Somewhere nearby, an emperor is yelling about goose down density. Again, honestly, if you think your roommate's snoring is bad, try sharing a villa with Caligula after he's had 3 cups of honeyed wine and one too many philosophical debates about mattress firmness. Asterisk, you probably wouldn't survive this. Not because of the political backstabbing though. Fair warning, there's a lot, but because of the pillows. The pillows. They're everywhere. Stuffed with peacock feathers, eiderdown, smuggled from Germanic swamps. Even dried rose petals imported at the cost of 3 small provinces. And everyone from senators to slaves is weirdly obsessed with them. Like argue-4-3-hours-over-thread-count obsessed. It's the Roman Empire's great unspoken crisis. Nobody can agree on what constitutes optimal napping conditions. Asterisk so. Before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Asterisk, go ahead. Drop a comment with your location and local time. Are you in Tokyo watching rain tap against your window? Buenos Aires curled under a knit blanket? Reykjavik, listening to distant geothermal hisses? Wherever you are, whatever hour it is, you're not alone. We're all just trying to find the right pillow in a world that keeps changing the stuffing. Asterisk now. Dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Asterisk, the air around you is warm, not hot, not stuffy, just pleasantly Mediterranean, like a breeze that wandered in from the Bay of Naples after stopping for olives and a nap. You're lying on a triclinium, one of those fancy Roman couches arranged in a U-shape so everyone can see each other gossip while eating grapes. Except tonight, no one's eating, everyone's napping, or trying to. Emperor Tiberius is over there, frowning into a pillow stuffed with what he insists is authentic alpine cloud, though historians suspect it's just very expensive sheep's wool dyed white and fluffed by nervous interns. Asterisk to your left. A courtier snores gently into a silken-cased cushion imported from the eastern edge of the empire somewhere near modern-day Syria, where they've mastered the art of stuffing pillows with desert herbs that supposedly induce prophetic dreams. Spoiler, they don't. They just make you sneeze. To your right, a visiting dignitary from Gaul is loudly insisting that oak leaf stuffing is superior for spinal alignment, which is both medically dubious and deeply uncomfortable to witness. Asterisk. One widely accepted historical fact: Romans loved their creature comforts. Baths, heated floors, scented oils, massage slaves. It was basically a spa civilization with a side of military conquest. Pillows were no exception. They didn't just sleep on them. They debated them, taxed them, gifted them as diplomatic offerings, and occasionally threw them during arguments. Pillow diplomacy was real, and weirdly effective. There's a recorded instance where 2 feuding generals settled a border dispute after being gifted matching pillows stuffed with dove feathers. Peace through plushness. Asterisk, here's the quirky detail you didn't know. Some Roman households employed Drenger pillow fluffers. That's right. Full-time jobs centered entirely around maintaining optimal pillow loft. These individuals, often elderly slaves or retired gladiators with gentle hands, would rotate, pat, sun-dry, and restuff pillows according to lunar cycles and the owner's mood. One particularly famous fluffer, Marcus Plummius, allegedly wrote a 12-volume treatise called Asterisk on the proper fluffing of imperial noggins. Asterisk, most of which has been lost, except for Book 7, Chapter 3, When to Add More Feathers. Hint, always. Asterisk. Historians still wonder if the fall of Rome started with a pillow shortage. Okay, maybe not seriously, but there's legitimate debate about whether luxury fatigued the empire's obsession with increasingly exotic, unsustainable comforts contributed to its decline. When your emperors are spending treasury funds on pillows stuffed with hummingbird down, yes. That was briefly fashionable under Nero. You might have misplaced priorities. Also, sourcing hummingbird down required invading approximately 17 new territories, which wasn't great for long-term stability. You shift slightly, testing the give of your own pillow. It's stuffed with something soft and springy, possibly rabbit fur, possibly the hopes and dreams of a very ambitious textile merchant. A slave nearby notices your movement and scurries over with a silver tray holding 3 alternative options. One filled with dried lavender for calm, one with river stones wrapped in linen for alignment, and one suspiciously lumpy sack labeled Mystery Blend, Emperor's favorite, allegedly. You reach for the lavender. Smart choice. The stones look like they double as weapons, and the mystery blend smells faintly of burnt toast and existential dread. Outside. The city murmurs chariot wheels on cobblestones, distant laughter from a tavern, the occasional shout of down with firm pillows. It's a thing. There are pamphlets. Inside, the oil lamps flicker gently, casting shadows that dance like drowsy spirits across the frescoed walls. Someone begins to softly strum a lyre in the corner. It's not a grand performance, just a few wandering notes, meandering like a sleepy river. Perfect. You close your eyes for a moment. Just a moment. The lavender scent wraps around you like a sigh. The marble beneath you holds the day's warmth, radiating it back in slow, gentle waves. Somewhere an emperor yelps because his pillow lacks structural integrity. You smile. Let him yell. You've found your spot. Soft, quiet, slightly ridiculous. Just how history should be experienced at bedtime, with 0 responsibilities and maximum fluff. The lyre's notes have melted into the night like honey off a warm spoon, and you're still lying there, pillow perfectly nestled under your neck. Lavender scent doing its very best impression of a lullaby sung by a mildly sarcastic Roman grandmother. But peace. Oh no, not here, not tonight. Because while you've achieved personal pillow nirvana, the rest of the villa is in quiet chaos. Courtiers are tiptoeing through marble halls, with armfuls of downy contraband, whispering like conspirators plotting a coup. Except their treason is fluff. -based. You sit up just enough to peek over the edge of your couch. They're darting behind a statue of Minerva, holding an owl that looks deeply unimpressed as Senator Lucius Flavius, clutching a burlap sack that's leaking feathers like a wounded goose. He's headed toward the Emperor's private chambers. You know this because he keeps glancing over his shoulder and muttering, "If he finds out I switched his eider down for duck, I'm dead." Or worse, assigned to tax reform. Downy diplomacy, they call it. The art of managing imperial moods through strategic pillow manipulation. It's not on any official Senate agenda, but it might as well be. Emperors don't declare war over grain shortages anymore. They snap their fingers because last night's pillow lacked emotional resonance. One famously banished an entire province's governor because his gift pillow smelled of peasant ambition. It was stuffed with hay. Very honest. Very poorly received. You slide off the couch bare feet, silent against cool stone and follow, at a respectful, non-suspicious distance. The villa corridors are dimly lit by sconces, shaped like dolphins holding tiny flames. Their flickering light turns every shadow into a potential spy, or a napping servant. Honestly, half the staff is asleep upright against columns. You pass one snoring gently into a broom handle. Another has curled up inside an empty amphora, using a folded toga as a neck roll. Efficiency? No. Adorable. Absolutely. *1. Widely accepted historical fact. Roman elites took their sleep seriously. Medical texts from the time treat insomnia like a national emergency. Galen himself, the rock star physician of ancient Rome, wrote extensively about the importance of proper head elevation and non-irritating stuffing materials. He even recommended rotating pillows seasonally, lighter fillings in summer, denser ones in winter. Pillow science, folks, 2,000 years ago. Asterisk, here's the lesser-known gem. Courtiers kept detailed logs called *Luberi, Somniorum, or books of sleep, tracking which pillows each emperor favored when they napped, how long, and whether they woke up cranky. These weren't diaries. They were survival manuals. If Emperor Claudius preferred peacock feathers after military victories but switched to swan down during diplomatic summits, you better believe someone was updating the palace inventory in real time. Mistakes were not tolerated. One poor scribe accidentally recorded pheasant instead of pheasant and partridge blend, resulting in a 3-day tantrum, 2D, and a new law requiring all pillow labels to be written in triplicate, asterisk. Historians still wonder if pillow preference was used as a loyalty test. There's scattered evidence suggesting that emperors would occasionally forget their favorite pillow before important meetings, then watch closely to see who scrambled to replace it correctly. Fail the pillow test. You weren't just out of favor, you were out of the room. Possibly out of the city, possibly out of the gene pool. Asterisk, you trail Senator Flavius to a heavy oak door, guarded by 2 very bored praetorians. They're playing a quiet game of knucklebones on the floor, occasionally glancing up with the enthusiasm of people who haven't slept properly since Augustus was in diapers. Flavius clears his throat. The guards don't look up. He clears it again, louder. One size pockets his dice, and opens the door without a word. Professionalism. No realism. Yes, inside. The emperor's bedchamber is excessive. Gold-threaded curtains. Mosaic floors depicting sleepy gods. A ceiling painted with constellations that glow faintly under strategically placed lamps. And in the center, a bed the size of a small ship. Currently occupied by Emperor Vespasian, who's awake, scowling, and poking his current pillow with a stylus like it personally insulted his mother. Asterisk again. He growls as Flavius enters. This one smells like regret and gall. Asterisk, Flavius bows, sweating slightly. Ah, Caesar, perhaps you'd prefer the Hungarian blend. Just arrived this evening. Light, airy, allegedly harvested under a waxing moon by virgins who sing lullabies to the geese. Asterisk, Vespasian squints. Are the geese also virgins? Asterisk, we didn't ask. Asterisk, a pause. Then, miraculously, the emperor chuckles. Fine, bring it, and if it snores, I'm blaming you. Asterisk, as Flavius scurries off to retrieve the sacred Hungarian dow. You linger near a curtain, unnoticed. This is peak pillow politics. No swords, no poison, just feathers, fabric, and fragile egos. You almost feel bad for them. Almost, eh? Servant brushes past you, carrying a tray of warm milk infused with poppy seeds and chamomile and other Galen-approved sleep aid. You take a cup? Why not? When in Rome, drink sleep tonics like it's your job. The warmth spreads through your palms. The scent is earthy, sweet, vaguely nostalgic like childhood blankets and forgotten afternoons. Asterisk, outside the window. The moon hangs low and lazy, casting silver stripes across the courtyard. Somewhere, a nightingale sings. Or maybe it's a particularly melodious bat. Hard to tell at this hour. Either way, it's soothing. You lean against the wall, cradling your cup, watching the emperor finally sink into his new pillow with a sound that's half sigh, half grunt of approval. Asterisk, he's asleep within minutes. Asterisk, Flavius exhales like he's just survived a lion fight. Asterisk, you smile. All this fuss, all this scheming, for sleep, for comfort, for 5 uninterrupted hours of not having to rule the known world. Asterisk, funny, isn't it? We think history is made in battlefields and senate houses, but sometimes it's made right here in the quiet exchange of a pillow, in the whispered hope that tonight the emperor won't wake up cranky. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful. The emperor's snores now rumble through the chamber like distant chariot wheels on a cobbled road, steady, rhythmic, oddly comforting in their predictability. You set your empty milk cup down on a marble ledge carved with sleepy satyrs. Even the decorations here are committed to the nap aesthetic and slip back into the hallway. The air out here is cooler, scented faintly with incense and the lingering ghost of panic sweat from Senator Flavius. But you're not following him anymore. No, your feet have other ideas. They're leading you toward the eastern wing, where the scent of silk and something faintly floral tugs at you, like a lullaby on the breeze. Asterisk, you're tracing pillows again, but this time, not Roman ones. Not yet. These come from farther away, much farther. Silk pillowcases, smooth as whispered secrets, dyed in colors that don't exist in nature. Twilight indigo, dawn pink, the green of a jungle canopy seen from above. They arrive yesterday by camel, then cart, then the trembling hands of merchants who've crossed deserts, mountains, and at least one very judgmental customs official in Antioch who confiscated 3 pillows for excessive dream-inducing properties. They were stuffed with jasmine petals. He was probably just jealous. Asterisk, one widely accepted historical fact. The Silk Road wasn't just about silk. It was a slow, meandering superhighway of comfort, curiosity, and questionable customs declarations. Spices, glassware, philosophies, diseases, lullabies all traveled along its dusty veins. And yes, pillows. Especially pillows. Because if there's one universal human truth, it's this. Everyone, everywhere, wants to rest their head on something that doesn't feel like a brick wrapped in burlap. Asterisk. You pause beside a half-open storeroom door. Inside, bolts of silk shimmer under lamplight like captured rivers. A merchant too, recognize him from last week's spice auction, is carefully unpacking a crate labeled "Fragile, contains dreams, do not shake." He pulls out a pillowcase embroidered with cranes in flight. Each stitch so fine, it looks painted. From the Yangtze Delta, he murmurs to no one in particular. Woven by blind grandmothers who claim they can feel destiny in the thread. Asterisk. Here's the quirky detail. Some Roman elites believed certain pillow fabrics could absorb or repel specific energies. Silk from China, said to invite prophetic dreams. Linen from Egypt, supposed to cool hot tempers. Wool from Britannia, only used during winter and only by people who enjoyed waking up sweaty and confused. There are letters, actual surviving letters, where senators beg distant relatives to send more Nile linen. The last batch did nothing for my nightmares, except make them damper. Asterisk. Historians still wonder if pillow stuffing was ever used as covert messaging. There's a tantalizing gap in the records around 62 AD, when a shipment of lavender-scented Syrian cushions arrived in Rome just days before Emperor Nero announced a surprise tax on lyre strings. Coincidence? Possibly. But also, lavender was known to calm nerves, and Nero was famously hyped. Did someone slip him a pillow designed to mellow him out before dropping fiscal bad news? We'll never know. But the idea conspiracy conducted entirely through upholsteries, too delightful not to entertain. Asterisk. You'll run your fingers over a pillow stuffed with what the merchant calls moon moss from the Himalayan foothills. It's cool to the touch, slightly damp, and smells like mountain mist and forgotten temples. Guaranteed to silence inner turmoil, he says, winking, or your denarii back. Terms and conditions apply. Void if used during thunderstorms or philosophical debates. Asterisk, you take it. Not because you believe in moon moss magic though. Let's be honest. After tonight, you're willing to try anything. But because it feels alive, soft breathing, humming with stories of places you've never seen. You tuck it under your arm and wander back toward the main courtyard, past fountains that murmur secrets to the stars, past dozing guards who've given up pretending to be alert, asterisk a cat-fat, smug, clearly employed by the palace as chief napping officer winds between your ankles, purring like a tiny engine. You stop to scratch behind its ears. It blinks slowly, stretches, then saunters off toward a pile of discarded senatorial robes, already picking its next napping throne, asterisk. You settle onto a low bench beneath a fig tree heavy with fruit that glows silver in the moonlight. Somewhere nearby, a flute plays a melody so slow, it's basically a sigh set to music. You nestle the moon moss pillow behind your head. It's strange, not uncomfortable, just different, cooler than feathers, quieter, like resting your head on a cloud that read all the philosophy books, but decided to take a break. Asterisk the night deepens. The stars wheel overhead, indifferent to empires, to pillows, to your increasingly heavy eyelids. You think about the hands that made this pillow, the weavers, the moss gatherers, the merchants who risked bandits and bad weather to bring softness across continents. All that effort, all that distance, just so someone, somewhere, could sleep better. Asterisk funny how the most luxurious things in history aren't gold or jewels. Asterisk they're the small, soft rebellions against discomfort. Asterisk the quiet insistence that even emperors deserve a good night's rest. Asterisk even if they have to argue about it first. Asterisk especially if they have to argue about it first. Asterisk you close your eyes. Asterisk the moss breathes beneath you. Asterisk the stars blink. Asterisk somewhere an emperor mutters in his sleep about thread counts. Asterisk and you. Asterisk you're exactly where you need to be. You're not sure how long you've been asleep or if you ever truly were. The moon moss pillow beneath your head hums faintly, like a lullaby sung by mountain winds through ancient pines. Your body feels pleasantly heavy, limbs loose as wet laundry on a clothesline, but your mind, still drifting, still aware, like you're half submerged in a warm bath of twilight, watching the world ripple above you. Asterisk. Then footsteps, light, measured, accompanied by the soft clink of metal instruments and the rustle of linen. You don't open your eyes. Not yet, but you feel the presence before you hear the voice, calm, dry, slightly exasperated, asterisk double quotes. Ah, another one who thinks moss is a substitute for structural support. Asterisk, you blink slowly. Standing over you is a man in a clean white tunic, sleeves rolled up, holding what looks like a cross between a spatula and a tuning fork. His hair is streaked with gray, his beard neatly trimmed, and his expression suggests he's seen every sleep-related disaster the Empire has to offer and catalogued them, alphabetically, with footnotes. Asterisk, he's Gaius Marcellus Hyginus, personal somnologist, 3 emperors, 2 of whom are still alive, which is practically a miracle. And he's currently poking your neck with the blunt end of his tuning fork spatula hybrid. Asterisk. You've got imperial pillow mismatch syndrome, he announces, as though diagnosing you with a seasonal cold. Stage 2. Mild cranial tilt, slight trapezius rebellion. Classic symptoms: drowsiness during daylight hours, increased tolerance for senatorial droning, sudden urge to nap atop public monuments. Asterisk, you sit up slowly. Moss pillow still cradled in your lap like a sleepy pet. Is it fatal? Asterisk, only if you ignore it, he says, pulling a small wax tablet from his belt. Last week, Senator Crispus fell asleep during a gladiator match and woke up engaged to a Vestal virgin. Turns out, he'd been using barley sacks as pillows for months. Barley. Do you know how abrasive that is on the cervical vertebrae? Tragic. Asterisk one widely accepted historical fact. Romans took health seriously, even if their cures sometimes involved chanting at frogs or wearing amulets made of weasel teeth. Sleep disorders were no exception. Physicians like Galen and Serranus wrote extensively about nocturnal imbalances, prescribing everything from lukewarm foot baths to bedtime recitations of agricultural law, apparently. Nothing cures insomnia like zoning regulations. Asterisk, here's the lesser-known detail. Elite households employed pillow physicians, specialists who didn't treat illnesses of the body, but of the bed. Their tools: calipers for measuring loft density, sniff jars for detecting mood-altering aromatics, and weighted silk cords to test spinal alignment while the patient napped. Gaius here. He invented the Dream Tilt Index, a sliding scale that rated pillows based on snore volume, drool dispersion patterns, and frequency of midnight philosophical epiphanies. His pamphlet, asterisk, Pillows and Posture, a treatise on horizontal harmony, asterisk, is currently banned in 3 provinces for excessive use of diagrams involving sleeping goats. Asterisk, historians still wonder if pillow medicine was ever weaponized. There's a rumor never proven, but delightfully persistent, that during the Year of the 4 Emperors, rival factions secretly swapped each other's pillows with agitation blends stuffed with ground chili seeds and dried scorpion tails. Did it work? Unclear. But one emperor did reportedly wake up screaming about fiery neck demons before abdicating in favor of a seaside villa and a career in pottery. Asterisk, Gaius kneels beside you, pressing gentle fingers along your shoulders. Residual tension near the scapula, likely from improper elevation during last night's banquet. He TSKS, you were using that peacock feather. Monstrosity again, weren't you? Asterisk, you nod sheepishly. Asterisk, thought so. Pretty, yes. Supportive. Only if you're a bird planning to fly away from your problems. He rummages in his satchel and pulls out a small clay jar sealed with beeswax. Here, apply this poultice behind the ears and along the nape. Contains crushed valerian root, chamomile resin, and the whispered regrets of a retired charioteer. Works wonders. Asterisk, you take the jar. It's warm, smells like earth and honey and quiet resignation. Asterisk now, he says, standing and brushing off his knees. Let's get you properly outfitted. No more experimental moss, no more mystery blends, and for Jupiter's sake, no more oak leaves. You're not a druid, and this isn't a solstice ritual. Asterisk, he leads you down a softly lit corridor lined with shelves holding hundreds of pillows, each labeled, categorized, and colored. Firm support for stoics, cloudlight for poets and liars, moderate loft width, slight scent of cedar for people who miss their mothers. Asterisk, he stops at a shelf marked, recovery blend, Emperor Vespasian approved mostly, pulls down a pillow encased in undyed linen, gently rounded, neither too plump nor too flat. This one's stuffed with a mix of alpine thistledown and shredded papyrus scrolls containing mildly boring legal decrees. The thistle provides lift. The boredom guarantees deep, uninterrupted sleep. Asterisk, you take it. It's perfect. Not flashy, not exotic, just right? Asterisk, Gaius watches you settle back onto the bench, nestling into the new pillow. Better. Asterisk, you sigh, like my neck just apologized for existing. Asterisk, he smiles faintly. Good. Remember, a pillow should serve you, not your ego, not your aesthetic, not your desire to impress visiting dignitaries from Cappadocia. Rest isn't a luxury, it's maintenance. Even emperors need oil changes. Asterisk, he turns to leave, then pauses. Oh, and avoid anything stuffed with hummingbird feathers. Unless you enjoy waking up convinced you're late for a meeting that doesn't exist. Asterisk, you close your eyes again. The new pillow cradles your head like it was made for you, because, in a way, it was tailored, adjusted, cared for. Asterisk, funny, isn't it? We think history is carved in marble and written in blood. Asterisk, but sometimes. Asterisk, it's stitched in linen. Asterisk, measured in millimeters of loft. Asterisk, prescribed by men with tuning forks and a deep understanding of neck demons. Asterisk, you drift. Asterisk, the stars turn. Asterisk, somewhere. An emperor sneezes, probably allergic to his own extravagance. Asterisk, and you. Asterisk, you're finally, blessedly, comfortably. Asterisk, asleep. You're dreaming of floating on a cloud made of shredded legal scrolls and alpine thistle when asterisk thump asterisk. Something soft hits the ground nearby, then another asterisk thump asterisk, and another, like slow, downy rain. Asterisk, you open one eye. Asterisk, moonlight spills across the courtyard like liquid silver, illuminating a figure crouched near the storeroom door you passed earlier. They're small, quick, dressed in a tunic 2 sizes too big, and stuffing pillows into a burlap sack with the frantic energy of someone who knows dawn is coming, and with it, accountability. Asterisk, another pillow drops. This one puffs softly as it lands, releasing a tiny sigh of eider down into the night air. Asterisk, you sit up quietly. New recovery blend pillow still tucked under one arm like a security blanket. The thief doesn't notice you. Too focused, too desperate, or maybe just too sleep-deprived to care. Asterisk, you pad closer, bare feet silent on cool stone. As you near, you recognize them. Livia, one of the junior handmaidens assigned to the Emperor's eastern chambers. 12 years old, possibly 13, with ink-stained fingers and a habit of humming off-key lullabies while polishing silver. She's also apparently Rome's most daring midnight feather heist artist. Asterisk, Livia, you whisper. Asterisk, she freezes. Slowly turns, eyes wide, not scared, like she knew this day would come. Like she's been waiting for someone to catch her, so she can finally explain. Asterisk, I can explain, she says, voice barely louder than the breeze rustling the fig leaves above you. Asterisk, one widely accepted historical fact. Theft was common in Roman households, not always out of greed, but necessity. Slaves and servants often borrowed small luxuries to trade, sell, or simply experience for themselves. A scrap of silk, a vial of perfume, a cushion stuffed with something softer than the straw pallets they slept on. It wasn't rebellion. It was survival, with a side of comfort. Asterisk, here's the quirky detail. Palace staff developed an entire underground economy based on pillow redistribution. Junior servants would lose a pillow during cleaning, only to find it later in exchange for favors, food, or shifts, swapped with someone willing to scrub the latrines. There are fragmented pay ledgers showing line items like 1 duck-down cushion equals 3 days off, mopping vomitorium. Efficient? Yes. Official? Absolutely not. Asterisk, historians still wonder if some pillow thefts were sanctioned or even orchestrated by higher-ups to test loyalty or relieve surplus inventory. There's a curious gap in Emperor Hadrian's personal journal, where he writes, disposed of excess swan down via discreet channels, morale improved, neck comfort unchanged. Was he donating, selling, or quietly allowing his staff to liberate luxury for their own tired necks? The world may never know, but the image of Hadrian winking as a servant sneaks off with a pillow is weirdly heartwarming. Asterisk, Livia shoves another pillow into her sack. It's not for me, she whispers. Well, partly, but mostly for Marta. She's got the cough again, the kind that shakes her whole body. Feathers help. Trap the warmth. Doctor said so. Asterisk, you nod. Of course. Not greed. Care. Asterisk, she sleeps on a sack of lentils, Livia adds, zipping the sack closed with practiced efficiency, which is fine, if you enjoy waking up, shaped like a bean. Asterisk, you glance toward the storeroom. The door's still ajar. Inside, moonlight glints off stacks of untouched pillows, dozens more where these came from. Enough for Marta, enough for Livia, enough for half the servant quarters. Asterisk, take 2 more, you say softly. Asterisk, she blinks. What? Asterisk, you heard me. 2 more. 1 for you. 1 for Marta. And if anyone asks, I authorized it. Tell them the pillow physician prescribed shared comfort. As a public health initiative, asterisk, her face breaks into a grin small, relieved, brighter than the moon overhead. She darts inside, re-emerges with 2 plump cushions wrapped in pale blue linen, imported from Alexandria, stuffed with river reed fluff and chamomile, and tucks them into her sack like sacred relics. Asterisk, thank you, she whispers. Asterisk, you wave her off. Go, before Gaius the pillow physician catches you and diagnoses you with excessive altruism. He'll prescribe bed rest and warm milk. For a month. Asterisk, she giggles us. Sounds so light it startles a nearby sparrow into flight. Hand slips into the shadows. Sack slung over her shoulder like a bounty of dreams. Asterisk, you stand there a moment, listening to the night. The fountains burble. The distant snore of a guard who's given up entirely. The rustle of silk curtains in a far window. Everything feels softer now. Quieter, kinder. Asterisk, you wander back toward your bench beneath the fig tree. Recovery blend pillow still in hand. But you don't lie down. Not yet. Instead, you sit and watch the stars wheel slowly overhead. Each one a silent witness to small rebellions. Quiet kindnesses. Midnight heists conducted. Not for power, but for peace. Asterisk. Funny how history remembers emperors and battles. Asterisk, but forgets the girls who steal feathers to keep their friends warm. Asterisk, the physicians who measure neck angles like poets measuring stanzas. Asterisk, the merchants who cross deserts carrying clouds in sacks. Asterisk, maybe that's the real story. Asterisk, not the shouting. Asterisk, not the crowns. Asterisk, but the stealing. Asterisk, the stitching. Asterisk, the sharing. Asterisk, the soft, stubborn insistence that everyone asterisk deserves a pillow that doesn't feel like punishment. Asterisk, you close your eyes. Asterisk, cradled by thistle and boredom. Asterisk, surrounded by stars and secrets. Asterisk, and for the first time tonight. Asterisk, you're not just resting. Asterisk, you're at home. The stars have shifted, just slightly, enough to tell you that time has passed, not in minutes or hours, but in sighs, in slow blinks, in the quiet settling of feathers inside stolen pillowcases somewhere across the villa. You're still on your bench beneath the fig tree, but the night has deepened around you like ink spilled in water. The air is cooler now. The scent of jasmine from a nearby trellis has grown stronger, wrapping around you like a lullaby woven from petals. Asterisk, and then you hear it. Asterisk, a hum. Asterisk, not from the flute player. He's long since packed up and gone home, probably to a very well-stuffed mattress. Not from the fountain. Its burble has softened to a whisper. This is different, lower, warmer, like a song remembered rather than sung. It's coming from the weaving alcove, just beyond the eastern colonnade, where the lamps still glow faintly behind sheer linen curtains. Asterisk, you rise, bare feet silent on dew-kissed stone, recovery blend pillow tucked under one arm like a loyal companion. Is you near? The hum resolves into melody, a lullaby, ancient and wordless, stitched not just into the air, but into every thread being pulled through the loom inside. Asterisk, peering through the curtain's edge. You see them? The enslaved weavers of the imperial household. 7 women, maybe 8, seated at wide wooden frames, fingers moving with the rhythm of tides. Their hands never stop, even as they sing, even as their eyelids droop, even as the moon paints silver streaks across their shoulders. Asterisk, one of them, you think her name is Ilara, though no one here uses names aloud. After sundown catches your eye. She doesn't smile, doesn't frown, just nods once, gently, as if to say, asterisk, you're allowed to be here, just don't break the spell. Asterisk, asterisk, one widely accepted historical fact. Textile production in ancient Rome was grueling, often performed by enslaved people working 12 to 16-hour days. But it was also deeply intimate. Every thread carried memory. Every pattern told a story. And lullabies. They weren't just for children. They were survival tools, soft armor against exhaustion, monotony, despair. Asterisk here's the lesser-known detail. Many weavers embedded secret messages into their linens, not through words, but through tension, texture, and stitch variation. A tighter weave near the hem might mean I miss home. A looser thread along the border. Someone is watching. And sometimes, just sometimes, they'd weave in a single strand of brightly dyed wool hidden beneath layers of plain linenase. A gift to whoever eventually slept on it. A whisper of color. A hidden spark. A tiny rebellion stitched in silence. Asterisk historians still wonder if some Roman bedding survived not because of its craftsmanship, but because of its hidden songs. There are fragmented accounts of pillows unearthed centuries later that, when held close to the ear in total silence, seemed to hum faintly, as if the lullabies had seeped into the fibers and refused to fade. Science says it's impossible. Poets say it's obvious. Everyone else. They keep the pillows anyway, just in case. Asterisk Elara's fingers pause for half a heartbeat, just long enough to adjust the shuttle end as she does. Her voice dips into a lower register, humming a phrase that sounds like wind through olive groves, like waves retreating over pebbles, like a mother's hand smoothing hair from a fevered brow. The woman beside her picks it up without missing a beat, then the next, then the next, a chain of comfort, a chorus of resilience. Asterisk, you step fully into the alcove now. No one stops you. No one even looks up. You're part of the night now, part of the rhythm. Asterisk, you settle onto a low stool near the back, setting your pillow beside you. The air here smells of lanolin, cedar loom oil, and something sweet, maybe honey cakes, cooling on a tray near the door. One of the weavers older, her hair streaked with gray like storm clouds at dawn, reaches over, without looking, and presses a small cake into your palm. You eat it slowly. It tastes like cinnamon and kindness. A young girl younger than Livia. Maybe sits cross-legged on the floor nearby, winding thread onto spools. Her voice is the highest in the group, clear and bright as a bell wrapped in velvet. She glances at you, eyes curious but unafraid, and offers a shy smile before returning to her work. Asterisk, you watch her fingers fly quick. Sure, already knowing the loom better than most adults know their own names. She's learning the old songs, memorizing the hidden stitches, carrying forward what was given to her. Asterisk, funny, isn't it? We think history is written by emperors. Asterisk, but it's woven by hands like these. Asterisk, hands that ache. Asterisk, hearts that hum. Asterisk, souls that stitch hope into every seam. Asterisk, the melody shifts against lower now. Softer, curling around you like smoke from a dying fire. Your eyelids grow heavy. The honey cake sits warm in your belly. The pillow beside you exhales softly, as if breathing with you. Asterisk, you lean back against the wall, letting the song wash over you, letting it carry you. Asterisk, no one speaks. Asterisk, no one needs to. Asterisk, the looms click. Asterisk, the threads sigh. Asterisk, the night holds its breath. Asterisk, and somewhere, deep in the palace, an emperor turns over in his bed, muttering about thread counts. Asterisk, while here, in the quiet dark, the real magic happens. Asterisk, stitch by stitch. Asterisk, note by note. Asterisk, dream by dream. You're half dozing to the rhythm of looms and lullabies, when asterisk, honk, asterisk, asterisk, loud, indignant, echoing off the villa's marble walls, like a brass trumpet, played by an angry goose. Asterisk, your eyes snap open. The weavers don't even flinch. They've heard worse. One chuckles into her thread. Another mutters. Third time this week. Asterisk, you stand, brushing fig leaves from your tunic, and follow the sound toward the western gardens past rose bushes heavy with midnight dew, past a marble satyr pouring water from an eternally empty jug, past a snoozing peacock who doesn't even bother lifting his head as you pass. Asterisk. Then you see it. Asterisk perched atop a low fountain rim, wings slightly ruffled, beak held high in regal outrage. A goose. Asterisk, not just any goose. Asterisk, the sacred temple goose of Juno Moneta. Asterisk, and she is asterisk pissed asterisk dot asterisk behind her. Two frazzled attendants tiptoed through the shrubbery, nets in hand, whispering frantic prayers to every minor deity they can remember. One trips over a garden gnome, yes. Romans had them, they just called them grotesque lawn dwarves and faceplants into a bed of lavender. The goose honks again. This one sounds suspiciously like laughter. Asterisk. One widely accepted historical fact. Geese were considered sacred in certain Roman temples, especially those dedicated to Juno, goddess of marriage, money, and apparently avian sass. Their feathers were prized for elite bedding, but harvesting them required ritual, permission, and ideally, a signed waiver from the bird itself. Many temples employed full-time goose negotiators, whose job was to coax, bribe, or gently trick the birds into surrendering feathers without causing divine offense or personal injury. Asterisk. Here's the quirky detail. The sacred geese of Juno Moneta were legally entitled to roam the city unharmed and did so with the confidence of minor royalty. There are court records of geese suing via human proxies for emotional distress caused by loud chariots, and winning compensation in the form of free grain and upgraded nesting materials. One particularly litigious goose, Flavia plumosa, successfully argued that her feathers should only be collected during lunar eclipses to preserve their dream-enhancing properties. The Senate agreed. Temples adjusted their schedules accordingly. Asterisk. Historians still wonder if some pillow-related political scandals were actually orchestrated by disgruntled geese. There's a curious incident in 41 AD, where Emperor Caligula recently declared war on Neptune and appointed his horse to the Senate. Suddenly reversed course after a spiritual encounter with a waterfowl of great dignity. Coincidence? Or did a particularly persuasive goose stage a midnight honk protest outside his window until he saw reason? We may never know, but the image of Caligula negotiating feather quotas with a goose wearing a tiny laurel wreath is oddly plausible. Asterisk. You approach slowly, hands raised in peace. The goose fixes you with one beady, judgmental eye. Asterisk. Hey there, you murmur. Big night. Asterisk. She hum. Translation. Asterisk. You have no idea. Asterisk. One of the attendants, now covered in lavender and regret, crawls toward you. Please, he whispers. She escaped during the feather blessing ceremony. If we don't get at least 3 plumes before dawn, the high priestess will replace our mattresses with sacks of gravel. Again. Asterisk. You glance at the goose. She preens a wing, utterly unconcerned. Asterisk. What's her name? US. Regina Puffia the Third, says the attendant. She's descended from the geese who saved Rome from the Gauls by honking really loudly in 390 BC. She knows it. She uses it. Asterisk. You kneel beside Regina, keeping your movements slow. She watches you, head tilted, like a professor evaluating a poorly prepared student. Asterisk. I hear your feathers are worth more than my yearly salary. You say. Asterisk. She honks softly, almost smugly. Asterisk. You reach into your pocket, not for a net, not for grain, but for the honey cake you saved from the weaving alcove. You break off a piece, hold it out. Asterisk. Regina eyes it, sniffs. Then, with the grace of a dowager empress accepting tribute, she takes it from your fingers, gently, precisely. No nibbling, no slobber, just elegant consumption. Asterisk. The attendants gasp. One faints again. Asterisk. You offer another piece. She takes it. Then, miracle of miracles, she shifts slightly and 3 perfect. Downy feathers drift to the ground between you. Asterisk, the attendants scramble forward, catching them in silk-lined boxers like holy relics. Asterisk, Regina stretches her neck, gives you one last look, almost approving, then waddles calmly back toward the temple gates, as if she planned this all along. Asterisk, which, let's be honest, she probably did. Asterisk, you stand, brushing grass from your knees. The attendants bow so deeply their foreheads touch dirt. Asterisk, she's never done that before, one whispers. Never. Asterisk, you smile. Maybe she just wanted someone to ask nicely. Asterisk, you turn to leave, but pause. On the ground where Regina stood, something glints in the moonlight. You pick it up. Asterisk, a single golden feather. Asterisk, not real gold. Painted, probably part of her ceremonial regalia, but still warm to the touch, slightly sticky with honey, humming faintly with the echo of honks in history. Asterisk, you tuck it into your tunic, right over your heart. Asterisk, funny, isn't it? We think power belongs to emperors. Asterisk, but sometimes. Asterisk, it belongs to geese. Asterisk, geese who know their worth. Asterisk, geese who demand respect. Asterisk, geese who give feathers only when properly bribed with baked goods. Asterisk, you wander back toward the villa. Golden feather snug against your chest. Recovery blend pillow waiting beneath the fig tree. Asterisk, somewhere behind you. Regina honks once more a farewell. A benediction. A reminder. Asterisk, sleep well, mortal. Asterisk, but not too well. Asterisk, someone's gotta keep the emperors in check. The golden feather rests warm against your chest, pulsing faintly as if it remembers flight, remembers temple courtyards at dawn, remembers the weight of divine expectation. You're walking back toward the fig tree, but you don't sit down, not yet. Something tugs you forward, instead past the bench, past the fountain, into the villa's inner library, where scrolls sleep upright in cedar shelves, and the air smells like dust, dried ink, and the quiet arrogance of men who think thinking is harder than weaving. Asterisk, lamps still glow here, low and buttery, tended by a single slave boy who's propped himself against a bust of Seneca and is very clearly pretending to read, while actually napping with his mouth open. You don't wake him. He looks peaceful. Besides, you're not here for scrolls. Asterisk, you're here for the pillows. Asterisk, not literal ones, though there are a few scattered on reading couches, stuffed with philosophical certainty and the occasional crumb. No, you're here for the asterisk idea asterisk of pillows, the debate, the discourse, the deeply Roman obsession with arguing about comfort while draped across velvet cushions imported from lands they couldn't pronounce. Asterisk, and sure enough, tucked into a shadowed alcove near the window, you find them, 3 philosophers, half asleep, half inebriated, deep in what can only be described as pillow ethics. Asterisk, one bald, bearded, wearing a toga so wrinkled it looks like it gave up on life years ago, snoring softly into a cushion labeled Stoic Standard Issue Firm, unforgiving, slightly musty. Another younger, draped in purple-trimmed linen and smelling faintly of rose water, is passionately gesturing with a wine cup while reclining on something absurdly plush, embroidered with doves and the words Epicurean Cloud Model V3. Asterisk, the third, leaning against the wall, eyes closed, chin resting on his chest, muttering, ... Therefore, the pillow is merely an illusion of support, ... Asterisk, you clear your throat. Asterisk, all 3 snap away core, at least, to do. The Stoic just grunts and rolls over. Asterisk, ah, says the Epicurean, waving you over with his cup. Come, join us in the great debate. Can true virtue be achieved atop a cushion softer than regret? Asterisk, one widely accepted historical fact. Roman philosophers loved to argue about everything: ethics, death, the nature of the gods, but especially about lifestyle. And since lifestyle included how one rested, slept, and recovered from all that thinking. Pillows became a surprisingly hot topic. Seneca wrote letters warning against overstuffed decadence. Cicero preferred firm neck support during debates. Marcus Aurelius, rumored to have meditated atop a rock to remind himself of impermanence, then immediately napped on a goose-down throne afterward. Hypocrisy, or wisdom, jury's still out. Here's the lesser-known detail. Some philosophical schools had official pillow guidelines. Stoics were issued standardized cushions designed to encourage resilience through mild discomfort. Epicureans, their pillows came with removable stuffing layers so members could adjust softness according to mood, meal, or level of existential dread. There's even a surviving receipt from 78 AD for 12 units of adjustable bliss-filling lavender-scented, +1 instruction scroll. How to nap without guilt. Historians still wonder if pillow preference was used as a covert loyalty test among rival schools. There's fragmented correspondence between two academics, where one writes, "He claims to follow Plato, but sleeps on eiderdown. Suspicious." Another replies, "Confirmed. Saw him hugging a cushion during symposium. Recommend exile. Or at least firmer bedding." Whether this was serious or satire remains unclear. But the mental image of philosophers spying on each other's nap habits is too perfect not to cherish. The Stoic finally sits up, blinking. Comfort, he announces to no one in particular, is the enemy of clarity. The Epicurean sighs, says the man who cried when his barley sack lost its shape. I did not cry, the Stoic mutters. I evaluated its structural failure with emotional neutrality. You settle onto a nearby couch, carefully, avoiding the Stoic's discipline cushion, and pick up a spare pillow stuffed with what feels like dried philosophy scrolls and good intentions. It crackles faintly when you shift. So, you say, if a Stoic naps on a cloud, does it make a sound? The Epicurean claps. Brilliant. That's going in next week's symposium. The Stoic glares. It makes the sound of moral decay. The third philosopher, the one who was muttering about illusions, opens one eye. What if the pillow is not beneath us, but within us? Silence. Then the Epicurean whispers. He's been at the hemlock tea again. You lean back, letting the absurdity wash over you. Outside, the moon has dipped lower, painting the library shelves in long, sleepy shadows. The slave boy snores louder. Somewhere, a nightingale tries to harmonize, fails, tries again. Funny, isn't it? We think wisdom comes from grand speeches and marble statues. But sometimes, it comes from men arguing about feathers while drooling on velvet. From thinkers who preach austerity, but own 3 backup pillows. From dreamers who believe comfort isn't weakness, it's strategy. You close your eyes. The scroll pillow crackles beneath your head. The philosophers resume their debate in quieter tones now. More murmurs than manifestos. And you. You drift. Not toward answers. But toward questions. Soft ones. Fluffy ones. The kind that don't need solving. Just savoring. The philosopher's murmurs have melted into the lamplight, soft and syrupy like honey left in the sun too long. You're not sure if they've reached enlightenment, or just fallen asleep again. The Stoic is definitely drooling on his discipline cushion, and the Epicurean's wine cup is perilously close to spilling onto a scroll titled on the virtues of post-nap clarity. Either way, their debate has dissolved into sighs, yawns, and the occasional muttered ... But what if the pillow dreams of us? You slip out of the library, golden feather still warm against your chest. Recovery blend pillow tucked underarm like a loyal hound. The villa's main bathhouse glows, a head steam curling from its vents like lazy ghosts. The scent of eucalyptus and warm stone drifting through the night air. It's late, or early. Hard to tell when time moves at the speed of yawns. Asterisk inside. The baths are nearly empty. Just a few senators soaking in the caldarium. Necks cradled on ceramic headrests, shaped like dolphins. Eyes closed, mouths slightly open. Looking less like rulers of the empire, and more like overcooked noodles who've given up on holding their shape. Asterisk. You pad barefoot across heated marble. Past mosaics of sea gods napping on coral pillows. Past attendants refilling oil jars, with the enthusiasm of people who've been awake since Jupiter was a pup. One offers you a towel. You take it. Another offers you a vial of scented oil labeled Sleepwalker's Serenity, mildly hallucinogenic. You politely decline. Asterisk. You settle onto a bench near the tepidarium's edge, dipping your toes into water so perfectly warm it feels like slipping into a memory. Across from you, Sonator Decimus Rufus, a man known for his booming voice and even louder opinions, is engaged in what can only be described as pillow diplomacy via hydrotherapy. Asterisk. And I told him, Decimus says, eyes closed, steam rising around him like a personal cloud of self-importance. If he values his province, he'll send peacock feathers. Not duck, not goose. Asterisk peacock. Asterisk. The iridescence alone improves dream quality by 17%. Asterisk. His companion, a quieter man named Lucius, currently floating on his back with a linen pillow under his neck, murmurs, 17. That seems specific. Asterisk. Galen's cousin measured it. Decimus replies, waving a dismissive hand that sends ripples across the water. Also, peacock feathers repel bad omens. And snoring. Mostly snoring. Asterisk. One widely accepted historical fact. Roman bathhouses weren't just for washing. They were social hubs, political arenas, gossip factories, and DS pillow review panels. Senators struck deals between dips. Generals planned campaigns while scrubbing their backs. And everyone, asterisk, everyone, asterisk, had an opinion on post-bath napping surfaces. The right pillow could seal an alliance. The wrong one start a feud that lasted 3 generations, and one very awkward Saturnalia party. Asterisk. Here's the quirky detail. Elite bathhouses employed thermal pillow consultants, specialists, who matched patrons with post-soak cushions based on skin temperature, muscle tension, and how loudly they'd complained during their massage. There are surviving appointment tablets that read, Senator M arrived flushed, tense shoulders, muttered about taxes, gives assigned cool linen with mint infusion, responded well, slept through desert, efficiency. No, adorable, absolutely. Asterisk. Historians still wonder if some political betrayals began in the baths, not with whispered conspiracies, but with misplaced pillows. There's a curious incident in 54 AD, where Senator Vibius Gallus abruptly switched alliances after being offered a substandard neck roll. During a critical soak, his former ally claimed it was petty. Vibius insisted it was a matter of spinal integrity. Either way, the civil lawsuit that followed included diagrams of proper pillow curvature and testimony from 3 retired masseurs. Rome never recovered. Neither did the neck roll manufacturer. Asterisk. An attendant glides over, holding a tray of 3 pillow options. One stuffed with chilled river moss for inflammation, one with sun-warmed flax seeds for circulation, and one suspiciously lumpy sack labeled Mystery Soother. Emperor's post-bath favorite allegedly contains regret. Asterisk. You point to the flax seeds. Safe choice. Warm, gentle, unlikely to trigger existential crises. Asterisk. As the attendant tucks it behind your neck, you sink deeper into the water. The heat seeps into your bones. The steam wraps around you like a blanket woven from clouds and quiet. Decimus is now debating whether lavender or rosemary induces more statesman-like dreams. Lucius has begun to snore softly, bubbles rising from his nose with each exhale. Asterisk, you close your eyes. Asterisk, the water holds you. Asterisk, the pillow supports you. Asterisk, the night hums around you. Asterisk, and somewhere deep in the palace, deep in the city, deep in the turning gears of history, an emperor rolls over in his bed, muttering about thread counts. Asterisk, while here, in the steam and silence. Asterisk, you remember. Asterisk, rest isn't weakness. Asterisk, it's recalibration. Asterisk, not surrender. Asterisk, but strategy. Asterisk, softness isn't frivolous. Asterisk, it's survival. Asterisk, and sometimes. Asterisk, the most powerful thing you can do. Asterisk is absolutely nothing. Asterisk at all. The steam still clings to your skin like a second, softer toga as you step out of the bathhouse. Flaxseed pillow cradled in the crook of your arm like a sleepy child. The night air outside is cooler now, crisp, with the promise of dawn, scented with dew, and distant bread ovens firing up for the morning rush. You're not heading back to the fig tree. Not yet. Something else tugs at you, a whisper of salt, a memory of sails, a rumor wrapped in linen and smuggled across seas. Asterisk. You follow it past the stables, where a horse snores louder than Senator Decimus. Past the kitchen gardens, where a cook is already arguing with a turnip. Down a narrow path lined with cypress trees that stand like silent sentinels guarding secrets older than Latin. Asterisk. At the end of the path, a small, unassuming chamber tucked beneath an archway carved with lotus blossoms and crocodiles. The door is slightly ajar. Inside, lamplight glows gold against walls hung with tapestries of Nile reeds and star-strewn desert skies. And there, seated cross-legged on a rug woven with ibis birds and crescent moons, is the merchant from earlier, the one who unpacked silk pillowcases like sacred scrolls. Asterisk. He looks up as you enter, smiles, doesn't seem surprised. Asterisk, ah, he says, patting the space beside him. I was wondering when you'd come for the Egyptian cotton. Asterisk, one widely accepted historical fact. Egypt didn't just give Rome grain, papyrus, and sarcophagus-related anxiety, it also gave them asterisk cotton asterisk. Soft, breathable, absurdly luxurious cotton, grown along the Nile and spun into threads so fine it felt like woven air. Roman elites went mad for it. Senators demanded cotton-stuffed pillows to combat Mediterranean humidity. Brides received cotton linens as dowry items to ensure dream-filled marriages. Emperors, they had entire rooms dedicated to cotton storage, guarded by men who took fiber purity more seriously than border security. Asterisk, here's the lesser-known detail. Cleopatra, yes. Asterisk, that asterisk, Cleopatra was allegedly obsessed with pillow customization. Court records heavily embellished, but still claim she demanded asterisk 30-7 asterisk nightly pillow adjustments before settling on the perfect arrangement. 2 for lumbar support, 3 for neck elevation, 1 stuffed with dried lotus petals to encourage prophetic naps, and a backup, set in case any of the first 7 betrayed her trust by flattening prematurely. There's even a sketch possibly apocryphal of her demonstrating optimal pillow stacking technique to a very confused Mark Antony. Asterisk. Historians still wonder if pillow diplomacy played a role in Rome's annexation of Egypt. There's a curious gap in Augustus's personal correspondence where he writes, "Received shipment of Nile cotton, exceptionally soft. Negotiations proceeding favorably. Coincidence? Or did Egypt's surrender come not at the point of a sword but at the offer of unlimited cotton-stuffed cushions for the imperial household? We'll never know. But the image of legions marching in exchange for premium bedding is weirdly plausible." Asterisk, the merchant hands you a pillow encased in undyed cotton, so fine it feels like holding mist. "This," he murmurs, "is from the Delta. woven under full moons by women who sing to the looms. They say each thread carries a wish. Most wish for rain, some wish for peace. One particularly bold weaver wished for a talking cat. Rumor has it, she got one. Asterisk, you run your fingers over the fabric. It's cool, light, breathing, like it remembers the river. Asterisk and the stuffing. You ask. Asterisk, he grins. Ah, that's the secret. He leans closer, voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. Dried Nile reeds, crushed chamomile, and a single strand of Cleopatra's hair. Asterisk, you blink. Seriously. Asterisk, he winks. No, but wouldn't you sleep better thinking it was? Asterisk, you laugh softly. Of course. The oldest trick in the merchant's book. Sell comfort wrapped in legend. Doesn't matter if it's true. What matters is that you asterisk believe asterisk it might be. Asterisk, you settle onto the rug, nestling into the cotton pillow. It's perfect. Not too firm, not too soft. Just right. Like it was made for you. Because, in a way, it was. Tailored, whispered over, blessed by moonlight and mischief. Asterisk outside. The first birds begin to stir. A rooster crows badly off key, like he's still learning his lines. Somewhere in the villa, an emperor yelps because his pillow lacks narrative cohesion. You smile. Let him yell. You found your spot. Quiet, cool, slightly ridiculous. Just how history should be experienced at bedtime, with zero responsibilities and maximum fluff. Asterisk. The merchant pours you a cup of warm barley tea infused with mint and something faintly floral. Drink, he says. It'll help the cotton work its magic. Asterisk, you sip. The warmth spreads. The scent wraps around you like a lullaby sung in a language you almost remember. Asterisk, funny, isn't it? We think empires are built on conquest. Asterisk, but sometimes, asterisk, they're built on cotton. Asterisk on wishes, whispered into looms. Asterisk on merchants who sell dreams with straight faces. Asterisk on pillows that don't care who you are. Asterisk, they only care that you rest well. Asterisk, you close your eyes. Asterisk, the cotton breathes beneath you. Asterisk, the stars fade. Asterisk, the world turns. Asterisk, and you. Asterisk, you're exactly where you need to be. The cotton pillow still cradles your head like a promise kept soft, cool, humming faintly with the ghost of Nile breezes and merchant mischief. But the world outside this little chamber is stirring, not loudly, not urgently, but unmistakably. Birdsong stitches through the air now, hesitant at first, then bolder, as if rehearsing for dawn's grand performance. Somewhere, a donkey brays, in protest of something. Existence? Probably. You wouldn't blame it. Asterisk, you sit up slowly, cotton pillow still in your lap, golden feather warm against your chest. The merchant is gone, vanished like smoke, leaving only an empty teacup and the faint scent of mint behind. Typical. They always leave before you can ask where they got the asterisk. Really asterisk. Good stuff. Asterisk. You step back into the cypress-lined path, bare feet brushing dookie stay grass. The villa is waking not with fanfare, but with sighs. Servants shuffle toward kitchens, rubbing sleep from their eyes. A gardener yawns over a rose bush, shears dangling forgotten in his hand. Even the peacock has roused himself, stretching his neck and glaring at the horizon like it personally offended him by existing. Asterisk, and then you hear it. Asterisk, not birdsong. Asterisk, not BRAYING. Asterisk, grumbling. Asterisk, deep, rhythmic, punctuated by the occasional clink of coin purses and muttered curses. It's coming from the western gate. Near the tax office, a squat marble building that looks less like a center of imperial finance and more like a place dreams go to die. Asterisk, you follow the sound. Asterisk, a crowd has gathered mostly, arms crossed, faces set in expressions of weary outrage. At the front, A portly official in a toga so stiff it could double his armor reads from a scroll, while two scribes scribble furiously beside him. Asterisk. And thus, the official intones, by decree of His Imperial Majesty, all luxury down products, including but not limited to eiderdown, swan fluff, Hungarian cloud blend, and mystery blends of suspicious origin are hereby subject to a 15% tariff, payable in coin, grain, or lightly used sandals of senatorial quality. Asterisk A. Collective groan rises from the crowd. Asterisk one merchant throws up his hands. 15% on asterisk pillows. Asterisk. Do you know what that does to my profit margins? And my naps? Asterisk another mutters. Next, they'll tax size. Asterisk 1. Widely accepted historical fact. Rome taxed everything. Salt, wine, urine, yes, really used for tanning and laundry. Window light, the number of slaves you owned, the width of your chariot. If it existed, Rome found a way to charge you for it. Luxury goods, especially targeted, pillows stuffed with exotic feathers, practically begging for bureaucratic attention. Asterisk. Here's the quirky detail. Some merchants responded to pillow tariffs, not with protests, but with smuggling ingenuity. There are customs records describing suspiciously lumpy loaves of bread stuffed with goose down, overly fragrant incense bundles hiding peacock feathers, and statues of sleeping gods with removable heads. Guess what was inside? One particularly bold trader disguised himself as a Vestal Virgin complete, with veil and solemn walk, to sneak a sack of eiderdown past inspectors. He got away with it for 3 days, then sneezed during a ceremony. Game over. Asterisk. Historians still wonder if the pillow tax revolt of 68 AD was real just a very elaborate prank by bored senators. There are fragmented accounts of citizens marching on the treasury with signs reading "Down with down taxes, and let us nap in peace," followed by a sudden, mysterious repeal of the tariff 1 week later. Official records claim it was fiscal recalibration. Unofficial tavern songs claim it was because Emperor Galbo woke up cranky after his pillow got confiscated for unpaid fluff duties. Either way, the people won. Briefly, until the next luxury item caught the Senate's eye. Asterisk you weave through the crowd, unnoticed. No one pays attention to someone clutching a cotton pillow like a security blanket. You pause beside a baker's cart, toast ostensibly full of sourdough bowls, but the way the loaves wobble when the cart hits a bump. Suspicious. Very suspicious. Asterisk. The baker catches your eye, winks, lifts a loaf slightly just enough to reveal a puff of gray down nestled inside. Asterisk. Special delivery, he murmurs, for Senator Flavius. He's been grumpy since they taxed his midnight snack pillows. Asterisk you grin. Of course. Even rebellion can be delicious. Asterisk the official finishes his announcement, rolls up the scroll with a self-satisfied snap, and marches back into the tax office. The crowd dozens disperse. They linger, whispering, planning, plotting. Asterisk funny, isn't it? We think revolutions start with swords. Asterisk, but sometimes. Asterisk they start with feathers. Asterisk with smuggled loaves. Asterisk with bakers who moonlight as pillow traffickers. Asterisk with ordinary people refusing to let bureaucrats steal their right to rest well. Asterisk you turn away. Cotton pillow tucked underarm. Golden feather glowing softly beneath your tunic. Asterisk the sun hasn't risen yet. Asterisk but something else has. Asterisk hope. Asterisk soft, fluffy, slightly illegal. Asterisk and absolutely worth fighting for. Asterisk the grumbling fades behind you as you slip away from the tax office. Cotton pillow still cradled like contraband comfort. Golden feather pulsing gently against your ribs, a tiny heartbeat of rebellion stitched in down and legend. The sky has softened at the edges now. Dawn blushing the horizon like a shy guest arriving fashionably late to a very long party. You're not heading back to the fig tree. Not yet. Something quieter calls you not with words, but with color, with light, with the slow, patient glow of mosaic tiles catching the first gold of morning. Asterisk. You find yourself drawn to the villa's western courtyard where the floor isn't stone or dirt, but a sprawling, glittering sea of glass and marble, tesserae. Gods nap here, dolphins dream, satyrs doze atop grapevines, wine cups slipping from their fingers in frozen, eternal relaxation. It's a lullaby rendered in tile, a hymn to horizontal living. Asterisk. And there, curled atop a section depicting Luna herself drifting across a star-strewn sky, is a young girl, maybe 8, barefoot, hair tangled like she wrestled a breeze and lost. She's asleep or nearly, with her head resting not on a pillow, but on the cool, smooth curve of a mosaic moon. Asterisk. You sit beside her, cross-legged, cotton pillow set gently beside you like an offering. She doesn't stir. Her breathing is slow, steady, trusting, as if the floor itself might catch her if she fell. Asterisk. One widely accepted historical fact: Roman mosaics weren't just decoration, they were storytelling, status symbols, magical wards. Some even believed certain patterns could influence dreams. Floors depicting ocean scenes, said to bring calm. Forests encouraged clarity. Celestial motifs guaranteed prophetic naps, or, at least, really good ones. Wealthy households often commissioned dream floors specifically for bedrooms and bathhouses, paying extra for artisans who specialized in somnolent symmetry. Asterisk. Here's the lesser-known detail. Children, especially servant children, were sometimes caught sleeping on mosaic floors, not out of whimsy, but necessity. Their pallets were thin, their chambers cold, but the villa floors, heated by hypocausts, smoothed by centuries of bare feet, patterned with stories that whispered comfort into the dark. There are fragmented household logs, noting young ones found napping on Orion's belt again, moved them, they returned, eventually. Some families gave up, and just left out spare blankets near the prettiest constellations. Asterisk. Historians still wonder if some mosaic patterns were designed specifically to lure tired children into safe, supervised naps. There's a curious trend in late first-century villas, where floor designs near kitchens and servant quarters feature exaggeratedly soft-looking clouds, oversized pillows woven into mythological scenes, and bizarrely repeating motifs of yawning kittens. Coincidence? Or ancient sleep trap architecture? The world may never know, but the image of Roman interior designers cackling over blueprints labeled Operation Cozy Capture is weirdly endearing. Asterisk. The girl murmurs in her sleep, shifting slightly. One small hand brushes the edge of Luna's robe rendered in pale blue and silver glass that catches the rising sun and throws it back in gentle sparkles. You watch her face soften further, eyelashes fluttering like moth wings against her cheeks. Asterisk. You reach for your cotton pillow, lift it, hesitate. Asterisk. Is it yours? Technically, yes, but does it belong here, with her, on this floor made of dreams? Asterisk. You place it gently beneath her head. Asterisk. She sighs, sinks into it, doesn't wake. Asterisk. Perfect. Asterisk. Somewhere nearby, a fountain begins to gurgle louder, as if applauding. A bird lands on the courtyard wall, cocks its head, then sings 3 clear notes before flying off. Even the peacock, strutting past the archway, pauses to glance inside. For once, he doesn't glare, just nods slow, regal, approving before vanishing into the gardens. Asterisk. You lean back against a column, watching the light climb higher, painting the mosaics in warmer hues. The girl sleeps on, wrapped in cotton and constellations. The floor hums beneath you, not literally, but close enough, like it remembers every dream ever dreamed upon it, every sigh, every whispered wish, every child who needed a softer place to land. Asterisk. Funny, isn't it? We think history is carved in marble and written in scrolls, Asterisk, but sometimes. Asterisk, it's pressed into floors. Asterisk, stitched into tiles. Asterisk, laid down one tiny piece at a time. Asterisk, not to impress. Asterisk, but to comfort. Asterisk, not to proclaim power. Asterisk, but to offer peace. Asterisk, you close your eyes. Asterisk, the sun climbs. Asterisk, the mosaics glow. Asterisk, the girl dreams. Asterisk, and you. Asterisk, you remember. Asterisk, the greatest luxury isn't silk. Asterisk, isn't feathers. Asterisk, isn't gold-threaded linens or goose-down thrones. Asterisk, it's safety. Asterisk, it's softness. Asterisk, it's knowing us, if just for a moment. Asterisk, that the world will hold you. Asterisk, while you rest. The girl still sleeps, curled like a comma against the mosaic moon, cotton pillow rising and falling with each slow breath. You haven't moved, haven't needed to. The sun is higher now, warm on your shoulders, kind on your eyelids, but the courtyard remains hushed, as if the stones themselves are holding their breath so as not to wake her. Asterisk. Then a shuffle, soft, deliberate, bare feet on tesserae. Asterisk. You open one eye. Asterisk. An old woman stands at the courtyard's edge, leaning on a gnarled walking stick carved with sleeping owls. Her hair is white as sea foam, her skin mapped with wrinkles that look less like age and more like stories pressed into parchment. She wears a simple wool tunic, undyed, patched at the elbows, and around her neck hangs a small pouch that smells faintly of moss and mountain air. Asterisk. She doesn't speak, just nods toward the sleeping girl, then gestures for you to follow. Asterisk. You rise quietly, brushing grass from your tunic, golden feathers still humming against your chest. The old woman turns without waiting, moving with the slow certainty of someone who knows every stone, every shadow, every sigh this villa has ever held. Asterisk. She leads you through a narrow archway draped in ivy, down a corridor lined with faded frescoes of nymphs napping in glades, past a kitchen where a cook is loudly arguing with a loaf of bread, your asterisk supposed asterisk to be fluffy, and finally to a small sunlit room tucked behind the wine cellar. Asterisk. It smells like earth, like rain, like something ancient and green waking up. Asterisk. Shelves line the walls, stacked with baskets, jars, dried herbs, and most importantly dozens of them. Not silk, not linen, not even cotton. These are different, stuffed with things that rustle, breathe, sigh. Asterisk. The old woman sets her stick against the wall and turns to you. Her eyes are sharp, bright, like she sees not just you, but the weight you carry, the nights you've spent chasing comfort, the pillows you've tested, the emperors you've out-SNO red. Asterisk. Sit, she says, voice like wind through reeds. Asterisk. You do. Asterisk. She pulls a stool close, lowers herself with a soft groan that sounds more theatrical than pained, then reaches for a basket woven from willow branches. Inside, clumps of velvety green moss, damp and cool, threaded with tiny white roots that curl like sleeping serpents. Asterisk. This, she murmurs, grows only in the high valleys, where the mist never leaves, where the air is so thin, dreams float easier. Asterisk. One widely accepted historical fact: before feathers, before cotton, before silk there was moss. Ancient cultures across Europe, Asia, and the Americas used mosses, lichens, and dried grasses as stuffing for bedding, cradles, even travel cushions. It was cheap, accessible, and, when properly cured, surprisingly resilient. Roman naturalists wrote about mountain mosses that hold warmth like a mother's arms, though most senators dismissed it as peasant fluff. Their loss. Asterisk. Here's the quirky detail. Some moss gatherers believed certain patches absorbed the energy of the places they grew, in and passed it on to whoever slept atop them. Moss from near waterfalls, said to bring clarity. From forest hollows.com. From mountaintops. Visions. This old woman, She hums while gathering hers. So the moss remembers music, she says, not mine. The world's asterisk historians still wonder if moss memory was real or just poetic license taken by tired travelers. There are fragmented travelers' journals describing pillows stuffed with whispering, bog moss that sang lullabies and forgotten tongues, and medical texts warning against dream-sickening moss harvested under eclipses. Science scoffs. Grandmothers nod knowingly. Everyone else? They keep the moss billows anyway, just in case. Asterisk. The old woman selects a handful of moss, crumbles it gently between her palms, releasing a scent like wet stone and distant thunder, then begins stuffing it into a plain linen cover stretched across a wooden frame. Her fingers move slowly, precisely, like she's weaving time itself into the seams. Asterisk. Most think stuffing is about fullness, she says, not looking up. About puff. About loft. Foolishness. It's about asterisk breath. Asterisk. A good pillow doesn't hold you down. It holds space. Asterisk for asterisk you. Lets you sink. Lets you rise. Lets you be unburdened. Asterisk. She hums as she works a tune without words. Older than Latin. Older than Rome. Older than empires. It curls around you like smoke from a hearth you didn't know you missed. Asterisk when the pillow is full. She ties the seam with twine dyed blue with woad. Hands it to you. Asterisk it's cool. Light. Alive. Asterisk you press it to your cheek. Asterisk its size. Asterisk. The old woman smiles. Sleep on it tonight. See what it remembers for you. Asterisk you clutch it like a promise. Asterisk funny, isn't it? We think wisdom lives in scrolls. Asterisk in speeches. Asterisk in marble halls, echoing with debate. Asterisk but sometimes. Asterisk it lives in moss. Asterisk in hands that remember how to make softness. Asterisk in voices that hum the world to sleep. Asterisk one pillow. Asterisk one breath. Asterisk one quiet moment. Asterisk at a time. The moss pillow rests in your lap, now cool, breathing, humming faintly with the memory of mountain mist and an old woman's lullaby. You haven't moved from her sunlit room, not because you can't, but because you don't want to break the spell. The air here still smells like rain and roots, like quiet miracles pressed into linen. Outside, the villa thrums louder, now servants shouting, carts rattling, a peacock shrieking what sounds like a personal grievance against the concept of mornings, but in here, stillness, sanctuary, then a gong not loud, not urgent, just ceremonial. 3 soft bronze notes that ripple through the walls like ripples across a pond at dusk. The old woman doesn't flinch, just nods toward the door. Time, she murmurs. They'll be waiting. You rise slowly, moss pillow cradled like something sacred. Waiting where? She points down the hall. The atrium of whispers, where pillows stand trial for crimes against comfort. You blink. ... Say again. She chuckles a sound like dry leaves tumbling down stone steps. Every full moon, every new emperor, every time someone wakes up cranky for no good reason, the pillow trials begin. One widely accepted historical fact. Romans loved their courts, loved their debates, loved assigning blame even to inanimate objects. There are records of trials against statues for causing bad omens, chariots for excessive squeaking during triumphs, and once, famously, a rooster for crowing out of turn and disturbing the augurs. Pillows. Of course they got their day in court, especially if they'd caused an imperial tantrum. Here's the lesser-known detail. The pillow trials weren't just performative, they were asterisk binding asterisk. Verdicts could result in stuffing replacement, fabric reassignment, or in extreme cases banishment to the servant quarters, considered both punishment and mercy. Accused pillows were represented by junior scribes trained in textile advocacy, while accusers, usually disgruntled sleepers, presented evidence, ranging from excessive flattening to causing dreams of tax collectors. 1. Pillow is acquitted after its defender argued, "It cannot be guilty of snoring. It has no mouth." The judge wept with joy. Case dismissed. Historians still wonder if some verdicts were rigged or at least heavily influenced by pillow lobbyists. There's a curious gap in Emperor Titus's reign where suddenly, all complaints about overly firm neck support vanished from court records, right after a shipment of apology cushions arrived from Egypt. Coincidence? Or did someone grease the wheels with lavender oil? We may never know. But the image of senators accepting bribes in the form of complimentary napping accessories is weirdly on brand. You follow the gong's echo down the hall. Moss pillow tucked underarm, golden feather glowing softly beneath your tunic. The atrium of whispers is exactly as dramatic as it sounds. High ceilings, marble benches arranged like a theater, a raised dais, where a stern-looking judge in a purple-bordered toga sits beside a scale holding two very nervous-looking pillows. The crowd is already gathered senators, servants, merchants. Even the Goose negotiator from earlier, Regina Puffia herself, is perched on a column, watching with regal disinterest. At the front, Senator Flavius stands, arms crossed, glaring at a pillow on the stand labeled, "Accused, causing bad dreams and excessive royal drooling." His attorney, a young scribe, with ink-stained fingers and a look of profound regret, clears his throat. "Your Honor, my client merely provided standard loft. Any nocturnal misbehavior must be attributed to the dreamer's overactive imagination, or possibly last night's eel stew." Flavius throws up his hands. It whispered. In Latin, it said, "Your togas are poorly draped." Gasps ripple through the crowd. The judge strokes his chin. That asterisk is asterisk slanderous. You slip into a back bench, moss pillow resting beside you like a silent co-conspirator. The trial drones on accusations of unauthorized fluff migration, scent betrayal, promised lavender, delivered cabbage, and one particularly emotional testimony from a Vestal virgin who claims her pillow stole her nap and gave it to a cat. Then the judge bangs his gavel. Next case. A bailiff wheels in a new pillow, this one stuffed with what looks like shredded scrolls and regret. The charge: causing existential dread during afternoon siestas. The defense attorney sighs. "Your Honor, it's stuffed with stoic treatises." Dread is a feature, not a bug. The judge rubs his temples. Guilty. Sentence: immediate restuffing, with Epicurean poetry and light snacks. You smile. Absurd. Beautiful. Perfect. Funny, isn't it? We think justice is about laws, about rights, about truth carved in stone. But sometimes, it's about pillows, about drool patterns, about dreams gone rogue, about letting people blame something soft for the hard parts off being awake. The moss pillow sighs beside you. You lean back, close your eyes, let the courtroom murmur wash over you, and for the first time tonight, you're not just resting, you're home. The courtroom fades not with a gavel, not with a verdict, but with a yawn, a slow, collective sigh that ripples through the atrium of whispers like wind through wheat. Senators slump into their benches. Servants rest their chins on their knees. Even the judge rubs his eyes and mutters something about post-trial naps being a constitutional right. The moss pillow beside you exhales softly, as if it, too, is ready to surrender to the night's final gentle pull. Asterisk, you don't wait for the next case. You rise quietly, carefully, and slip out the arched doorway. Moss pillow tucked under one arm, golden feathers still pulsing against your chest like a lullaby made flesh. The villa is quieter now, not silent, never silent, but softer, settled, like a great beast curling into its den after a long day of roaring. Asterisk, you find yourself back where it all began, beneath the fig tree, where moonlight still spills silver across the grass, where the fountain murmurs its endless, watery lullaby, where your very first pillow, the recovery blend stuffed with thistle and boredom, still waits for you on the bench. Slightly rumpled, slightly smug, like it knew you'd return. Asterisk, you sit. Not heavily, not eagerly, just gently, as if afraid to startle the night. Asterisk, the moss pillow settles into your lap. You run your fingers over its surface cool, alive, humming with mountain air and old songs. The golden feather glows faintly beneath your tunic, warm as a heartbeat, and the recovery blend. It shifts beside you, whispering, asterisk, I told you so. Asterisk, asterisk, one widely accepted historical fact. Humans have always returned to their beds even after empires fell, even after trials ended, even after geese honked their divine displeasure into the dawn. Because no matter how grand the drama, how loud the debate, how absurd the accusation, the body remembers what the mind forgets. Rest is not optional. It is ritual. It is rebellion. It is the quietest, most necessary act of survival. Asterisk, here's the lesser-known detail. Many Roman households kept a final pillow, not the fanciest, not the softest, but the one they reached for when everything else failed. Often plain, often worn, sometimes stitched by a mother, a sibling, a friend, long gone. These pillows weren't judged for loft or scent or dream-enhancing properties. They were loved for constancy, for familiarity, for the way they held you not perfectly, but faithfully, when the world felt too heavy, too loud, too strange. Asterisk. Historians still wonder if the true measure of an empire isn't its armies or its architecture, but the quality of its final pillows. There's a haunting line in a fragmented diary from Pompeii. When the mountain roared, I did not grab gold. I grabbed my pillow. It smelled like home. That was enough. We don't know if the writers survived, but we know this. In the end, comfort mattered more than coin. Asterisk, you lift the moss pillow. Press it to your cheek. It sighs. You place it beside the recovery blend. Then you reach into your tunic and pull out the golden feather, warm, sticky with honey, glinting like captured starlight. Asterisk, you tuck it between the two pillows. Asterisk, a bridge. Asterisk, a blessing. Asterisk, a tiny, ridiculous monument to everything you've seen tonight. Asterisk, the arguing emperors. Asterisk, the midnight feather. Heists. Asterisk, the singing weavers. Asterisk, the sacred, sarcastic goose. Asterisk, the philosophers who napped on velvet while debating virtue. Asterisk, the children who dreamed on mosaic moons. Asterisk, the old woman who remembered how to make softness. Asterisk, you lie back. Asterisk, let the pillows cradle you, one cool and breathing, one firm and forgiving, one feather glowing between them like a secret. Asterisk, the stars wheel overhead. Asterisk, the fountain sighs. Asterisk, somewhere an emperor turns over in his bed, muttering about thread counts. Asterisk, and you. Asterisk, you smile. Asterisk, close your eyes. Asterisk, breathe. Asterisk, not because you have to. Asterisk, but because you can. Asterisk, because you've earned this. Asterisk, because history isn't just battles and borders. Asterisk, it's this. Asterisk, this quiet. Asterisk, this softness. Asterisk, this moment. Asterisk, nothing is demanded of you. Asterisk, except to rest. Asterisk, to be held. Asterisk, to let go. Asterisk, so let go. Asterisk, sink in. Asterisk, drift. Asterisk, the pillows have you. Asterisk, the night has you. Asterisk, and for the first time. Asterisk, in a long time. Asterisk, you are exactly. Asterisk, where you need to be.